Alright, hopefully this works this time. It's like the fifth time I've recorded this thing. I had to stop each one of the previous recordings after about 3 or 4 minutes because the camera keeps freezing! And I don't know why! Anyways, okay. Let's start from the top. My first book of the past 2 weeks was Of Empires and Dust, which was an absolutely fantastic read. I really loved coming back to these characters, getting to see Kaylin, Dan, and Rist, and then of course Dane, though I do think Dane was the weakest of the bunch. And I know people are going to be like, what? Dane is the weakest? I honestly like him less than Dallin. Fight me. And Dallin and Aeson, and all the main three. I guess the only one I'd put below him is Eric. Have at ye. But I really, really, really enjoyed this book. Getting to see Kaylin, Dan, and Rist again. I'd completely forgotten their personalities, but I forgot that their personalities are so well fleshed out. And so, but once I got back in, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot. That's why I love these characters. And so, Dan especially just got such a chuckle out of me every time he was on the page. I loved it so much. And it was so very enjoyable. And yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say because this is a very difficult book to talk about without spoilers, since it is book four in a 5 book series with one, two, three, four novellas. Fourth one being planned for next year or this year, maybe? Is it this year or the next year? I actually don't know. Anyways, I did really, really enjoy my time with this book, and the ending was fantastic. I did love, 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 love that ending. So that is about all I have to say for this because I don't want to drag it out too much. And also, I'm tired of talking about Of Empires and Dust since I have had to talk about it multiple times and say the same things about 5 different times now. So, sorry. Blame technical difficulties. Anyways, now I want to talk about the other thing that I read. Actually, this is why Of Empires and Dust took so long. Kagurabachi. Now, I have a very interesting relationship with this series. I've never read it before. I just started it on a whim because somebody was praising it on Twitter. But so when this manga series was initially teased, the entire I swear, I guarantee you, if you were chronically online at the time, you would have known about Kagurabachi. Because it was right after the Morpheus shebang, where everybody was like, Morpheus is the greatest thing of all time, highest grossing thing, highest grossing film of all time, having grossed $1 quadrillion. It was the dumbest stuff. And so they saw this kind of edgy looking manga and went, oh yeah. This is gonna be the greatest manga of all time. The greatest thing you've ever seen. And it hasn't even released yet. It's so funny. And so, yeah, I did know about this series. But then eventually, of course, the series garnered attention. And people were like, oh no, this is actually fire. Now, did I read it? No, I just said I'll get to it one day. If people think it's good, I'll get to it. And I just kind of kept putting it to the wayside, and so eventually I just said, okay, why not? I'll read a chapter or two. And then after that chapter or two, I said, okay, that's pretty fire. It's not amazing, but I'm interested. But then I think I want to say about a volume in. Oh, that volume was just amazing. Oh, oh man. I mean, as the series went on, and I'm caught up now, it just got better and better. And I think what I really love about this series is it's its adherence to a sort of optimistic realism. It really, really, really wants you to think of humanity as inherently good. Some of these characters are outright evil, and this story doesn't shy away from that. But what I love about it is that it recognizes that humans can be evil, but it also recognizes that there's a okay, no, you know what? It's gonna pause and I'm gonna stitch these videos together. How about that? All right. Yeah, I'm stitching these videos together. I'm done. I hate this crap. So this is getting out. Anyways, Kagurabachi, I loved it so much. And then it also has one of those stories that's super tightly prepared. So the author very clearly just ahead of time went ahead and wrote the entire story, or wrote something or enough that he can start foreshadowing stuff like insanely well early on. Now, of course, there are flaws. I would say a couple of the characters kind of just vanish and are relegated to side characters after being very important early on. And that's kind of annoying, but I can excuse it for how strong the antagonists and the main character are. Like, it's that well done. I think every antagonist here, without fail, has this great and brilliant intrigue to them. And what's even better is, this is what I love when a shonen manga can do it right. When shonen manga are great and at their best is when they have battles of ideology. And that is what the fights, the physical fights, are a manifestation of. That when we fight with our swords or our magic or whatever, it is because you and I have opposing ideologies and we must settle it this way. That is how opposed our ideologies are to one another. And I love that. It's so interesting. It makes it such a fascinating, it makes it so compelling, because then you're hoping and rooting for an ideology as well as a character, because the characters are great. And Kagurabachi was something special. I really, really enjoyed this series. And I will be reading it weekly from here on out. And of course, suffice it to say, I love these covers too. Like, look at that cover. I don't know why. I just love the combo of blue and black and white. Like, all of them, like, meshed together. Oh, it's so good. But I loved it a ton. And now I'm caught up. Like, I cannot get enough of it. I need to keep reading. Now, that's all I have for Kagurabachi. Now, I also have been reading Soul Eater. Ignore the what's it called, Your Pie Pizza gift card that I'm using as my bookmark. Anyways, I am continuing to read Soul Eater. It is just as interesting as it has always been. The way the cosmic horror is starting to kick in, and all these fascinating bits, I really like how the story has developed. And I don't really know how else I can keep talking about it, because it's spoilery, and I don't really have the end of certain arcs yet. But I do like, actually, like I was telling you before, battles of ideology become the fights. And that's what this is. And they're interesting battles of ideology, too. More, but less complex on both sides, and more, do I give in to the fear or the madness that hides within us all? And I think that's so interesting. Now, what am I currently reading? That is A Drowned Kingdom. And now I have a lot to say about this one. This was something very interesting, because I was very excited for this, and I had something, I had an expectation going into this, and I don't know why. I typically try not to have expectations, but I had an expectation for this one. And when I read the prologue, I set an expectation for how this story was going to turn out. Oh man, that, like, literally by the end of part 1, I just everything. The PL Stewart just said, "Hold on," and just subverted every single one of my expectations. I was like, "Okay, hold on, what?" And there was a moment where I'm thinking, "Okay, maybe this scene wasn't reality." But as I kept reading, I'm like, "Oh shoot, that is a real scene." That makes this much more interesting. Now, there's just so many interesting things going on. Now, I do have to say though, part 1 I part 1 I almost considered dropping the book. And it's not because I thought the book was bad. It was because it was using a more summary focused storytelling device than I liked. It felt like part 1 was a prologue and a narrator prepping me for a real story, for the rest of the story. And I can enjoy that, but my problem was I didn't know Othrun, who is our main character, very well. And it bothered me because I didn't I wanted to see his character. I wanted to see the character dynamics he had with other people. And of course, as soon as part 2 started, we started getting more of that. And I really, really am happy about that. But I do have to say that part 1 did suffer for me personally, in the sense that it felt very summary heavy, without me having already been attached to the character. Like, for example, Fitz. We get a lot of summary from him in his 4th book. But that makes sense to me because I've already been with him for 3 books. I know who he is, I know his character, and it's like catching up with him. And I really liked that. The problem I had with this one was I don't know who Othrun is. I don't really see a lot of him outside of what he's telling me. Like, he's telling me his story. And I don't know who he is very well. But then, of course, part 2 comes around, and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to really get who Othrun is. And I really am happy because the end of part 1 was like a hook for me. I'm like, okay, bet, let's go. I really, really enjoyed it. And now I'm very curious where the story is going to keep unfolding. I'm curious how these political alliances are going to unfold. And now I'm invested. So there is no worry for me dropping this at all. I'm really interested in where this book and where the rest of the series will go. So I'm going to definitely be keeping an eye on this. But I do have to say, Othrun has done something no author has been able to do since Robin Hobb. Othrun is more infuriating than Fitz. Yeah, and if you've read The Realm of the Elderlings, oh my god! And then that's a testament to P.L. Stewart's writing, by the way. That's not a diss. That's not me saying that he's a bad writer. That's me saying he's such a good writer that he made me more angry at a character than Fitz Chivalry Farseer. You can't do that. Like, it just... And you know what? Fitz doesn't even bother me that much. Othrun, he really gets on my nerves. Oh my god. Every time I pick up the book, I'm like, shit, this is how Othrun's gonna be? Dang it, Othrun, just be reasonable! And it's just like, I just want to pull my hair out every time. It's, again, P.L. Stewart is just doing such a great job at making me angry. Like, and I know the point of Othrun's character. Damn it, Othrun. Can you please be reasonable? It's just all I desire. Please. Ugh. Anyways, I am enjoying the book. And I cannot wait to keep reading it. I'm hoping to finish it within the next few days and then continue on with my journey into... Now, here's the fun one. Mercy, or wait, that's not Tears of the Fallen. Ill is the Fate. I want to say, first off, thank you so much to Chance, my great friend, for giving me this ARC copy, this physical ARC, and I'm just so excited to actually dig into the physical. Sorry, the physical. I am so excited to read the book. It is such a pleasure to read this book earlier than everybody else and get to talk about it earlier. So I'm so unbelievably excited and so unbelievably grateful. I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but right here, yeah, you can see it there. I have Mercy Tears of the Fallen and I keep it there, and I will be putting Ill as the Fate right there on all my videos, even though I do know it does tend to get covered up by my big fat torso. But it'll be there because I'm very grateful, and I'm very excited for this book too. I'm very excited to see where all these characters go and see the ending of this first duology. So this is going to be fantastic. I cannot wait. I don't have much else to say, but I do have one more thing to say. That is, oh, look at this beauty. Look at that beauty. Look at that gorgeous cover, you know? I mean, man. Chance and the artist. Okay, you know what? I know he's the same artist as the one who does the Cahill covers. So, real quickly, I want to see typography cover art by Stuart Bach. I probably butchered the name, but great fucking job. Jesus Christ. What an amazing job. Oh, and actually, real quickly, I want to go back to Drowned Kingdom real quickly. I want to talk about the fact that religion in this book is so interestingly done. I'm not going to keep harping on about it, but I think it's very interesting. So, now, what is going to be after Ill is the Fate? We're going back to Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. Woohoo! I am very excited for this one. This one is I'm so excited. You know, so originally the plan was to do a big book every month, switching between Malazan and Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. Malazan, I'm still just getting started, so I feel like I can be a little bit more lenient with myself, but I want to get to Green Angel Tower done by... I want to get Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn done by the end of May. I really want that. And, man, I'm so excited. I'm actually so freaking excited. And just, like, I keep looking at this cover, or this art piece specifically. Oh, my God. I can't stop looking. I'm just so obsessed. I need to read this book. And I'm so unbelievably excited. And then, of course, the cover art. And then, of course, this scene. I'm just, oh, my God. Of course, I love Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. But this is something. This makes me so excited to just be a reader and just read through this entire thing. Hell, I'm thinking very seriously that I'm just gonna read from beginning of To Green Angel Tower Siege, to the end of To Green Angel Tower Storm, which is the second part, and just do that because I'm so excited. That's how much I love this series, and I'm so unbelievably excited to read the finale of this original trilogy that has inspired so much of fantasy in this modern day and age. And, I'm just so excited, you know? I want to see how Simon's story unfolds. I want to see the context between this scene. I want to see where Joshua goes. I want to see what happens for the end, and I want to see what's going to happen with Iskrimnur. I want to see what's going to happen with Marielle. I want to see how she is handled in this last book, because that Miriamelle is going to be a make or break character with me. I'm either going to love her as one of my favorite characters of all time, favorite female characters of all time, or I'm going to hate her guts. I'm going to think she's a terribly written character. It's going to be one of the two. I guarantee it. It's going to be one of these. But I have faith that she's going to be amazing. And I'm so stoked that oh man. And expect a full gush video once I'm done with this trilogy. Or I guess quartet. I don't know how you'd phrase it. I'm so excited for the Green Angel Tower. Like, oh, man. And, of course, now I'm not sure if it's going to be between the two parts of True Green Angel Tower or if it'll be after. But I want to continue the Assalian Saga by Michelle West. So I will be reading City of Night at some point, and the reason it's here, of course, is because I don't know if it's going to be right after True Green Angel Tower or if it's going to be right after the entirety of True Green. Excuse me, Jesus Christ, the entirety of True Green Angel Tower, rather than in between the two parts of it. But we shall see. It all depends on how fast I read, and I'm not going to push myself. I'm not going to make myself speed through the series. But, I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying everything that I'm reading. I'm so unbelievably excited to read all the stuff that I want to read. Oh, man. It's just so exciting, Getting to read all these books is just so... It makes me too excited to be a reader, Anyways, I think that's all. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm profoundly annoyed that the middle of this video got stopped, but it's done now. It did. I got through a whole cut at the second part, so I'm very happy. And also, apologies for not having a video out last week. I had a lot of technical difficulties, and I just kind of threw up my hands and said, no, I'm done. That's the thing that bothers me when making videos. I'll run into technical difficulties, and if I run into it enough, I just kind of stop, because I don't have the energy for it, I'll stop, I'll come back to it later. And I do have that video still downloaded. It's not that the file is corrupted, it's just that something went weird when I was processing it in the editing portion. And yeah, so hopefully it'll go up next week. I might try to have an extra video up next week, but we'll see. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Tell me, have you read any of these books? Do you plan to read any of these books? What do you think of these books if you have read them? Are you excited to read these? Oh, of course you're excited to read these books if you plan to read them. That was a dumb question. Ignore that one. What have you guys been reading? I would absolutely love to know. And I will see you all next time. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day.